"Dad, my ear hurts," the black girl cried. The billionaire rushed her to the hospital, and then, imagine the worst nightmare for a father. The moment his child is in pain, and nothing can prepare you for what happens next. This story will leave you on the edge of your seat. Stay with me till the end, because you won't believe what happens in the hospital room. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. If you're part of the Black Visionaries family, hit that like button now and subscribe for more unforgettable, jaw-dropping stories that'll keep you hooked till the very last second. Let's dive into it. The house was quiet, almost eerily so. The kind of stillness that you only notice when something is about to break it. It was late in the evening, and the soft hum of the air conditioning was the only sound in the room. But then, a voice broke through the silence. "Dad, my ear hurts." The words, spoken by a little girl no older than 6, cut through the air, sharp and full of distress. Layla, his daughter, was curled up on the couch in the living room, clutching her ear with both hands, her face twisted in pain, her small body trembling. Marcus Blackwood, a man used to navigating boardrooms, dealing with multimillion-dollar deals, and managing a sprawling empire, felt the coldest grip of fear clutch at his heart. His gaze snapped to her. His chest tightened. Layla's usual vibrant energy was gone, replaced with the pale, tear-streaked face of a frightened little girl. He had never seen her like this before. "What happened, baby? Tell me what's wrong," he said, trying to stay calm, but the panic in his voice betrayed him. Layla's eyes were wide, her tears starting to fall more rapidly now. "It hurts, Daddy. It really hurts," she whimpered. Her tiny hands were pressed to her ears, but the pain was clearly overwhelming. Marcus didn't think twice. He jumped up from the couch, his heart pounding in his chest. "Stay right here. I'm going to fix this, I promise," he said, though even as the words left his lips, he wasn't sure what to do. All his resources, his wealth, his success, meant nothing when his little girl was in pain. He rushed to her side, lifting her into his arms with practiced ease, though his mind was in turmoil. He knew he needed to get her help immediately. The thought of her in such pain, with no way to immediately take it away, tore at him. Without hesitating, Marcus grabbed his keys and rushed toward the door. There was no time to waste. The hospital was the only place that could help right now. His mind raced, running through the possibilities. Was it an ear infection? A more serious issue? He didn't know, but he couldn't waste a second. The cool night air hit him as he slammed the car door shut, Layla still cradled in his arms. She was quieter now, her cries softening to a quiet sobbing. The drive to the hospital seemed like it took forever. Marcus's eyes were on the road, but his thoughts were on Layla. Every moment felt like an eternity, and every second was filled with the dread of not knowing what was happening to her. "Everything will be okay, Layla," he whispered, though even he wasn't sure. He just needed her to feel comforted, to know she wasn't alone in this. His daughter's hand clutched his shirt, and her head rested against his chest, still sobbing, though her breaths were becoming shallower, as if exhaustion had started to take over. When they finally pulled into the emergency room, Marcus didn't wait for anyone to come to them. He rushed inside, his daughter still cradled in his arms. The hospital staff immediately sprang into action, recognizing the urgency in his voice. A nurse led him through the sterile white halls to a private room, and within minutes, a doctor arrived, a calm woman with short brown hair, wearing a white coat and holding a clipboard. She smiled gently at Layla, though Marcus could see the concern in her eyes. "I'm Dr. Henderson. We'll take good care of you, sweetheart," she said, her voice soft and soothing, despite the tense atmosphere. Layla clutched at Marcus tighter, her tiny body shaking. The doctor took a quick look at her ear and gently examined it. Layla flinched, her cries sharp again as Dr. Henderson's fingers lightly touched the swollen area. "It looks like an ear infection," the doctor explained. "It's quite painful, but it's treatable. We'll get some antibiotics into her, and she'll feel better soon." Marcus nodded, though he wasn't entirely relieved. The thought of something so simple causing his daughter such distress felt suffocating. He'd spent years building a business empire, becoming a billionaire, but nothing in his life had ever felt as helpless as this. His mind flooded with questions. Could this happen again? How long would it take to make her better? Was she going to be okay? He sat beside her, holding her hand as she cried herself to sleep. The doctor gave him a reassuring look and explained that they would be monitoring Layla throughout the night to make sure the medication started working. With that, the doctor stepped out, leaving Marcus alone with his daughter in the small, sterile room. As the hours ticked by, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling swirling inside him. His wealth had bought him everything he ever wanted: luxury, power, and prestige. But it couldn't protect his daughter from pain. No amount of money could fix this. The real weight of fatherhood, of responsibility, hit him harder than it ever had before. With every hour that passed, his anxiety grew. Layla had fallen into a deep sleep, but Marcus couldn't rest. He stayed by her side, watching her, wishing he could do more. In that moment, he thought of her mother, on a business trip, and wished she were here too. The guilt of not being able to be fully present for his daughter gnawed at him. How had it come to this? How had he let his work consume him so much that his own daughter's suffering had caught him off guard? The quiet moments of the night were filled with reflection. In all the years of building his empire, he had never felt so small. There were no contracts to negotiate, no investors to please. There was only his little girl, and all he wanted was for her to feel safe again. Finally, after what felt like a lifetime, Layla began to stir. Her small fingers reached for his hand, and Marcus's heart gave a flutter of hope. She looked up at him, her eyes still sleepy, but a hint of clarity returning. "Daddy," she whispered, her voice still fragile. "My ear doesn't hurt anymore." A weight lifted from Marcus's chest, but it didn't fully dissipate. He smiled at her, brushing a lock of hair from her forehead. "I'm so glad you're feeling better, sweetheart," he said, his voice thick with emotion. He kissed her forehead gently, watching as she finally began to drift back to sleep, her breathing steady and peaceful. As the sun began to rise, streaming soft light into the hospital room, Marcus sat there, looking at his daughter. He had the world at his feet, but none of it meant a thing compared to this moment. The pain, the fear, the helplessness, it had all made him realize something he hadn't fully understood until now. No matter how successful he was, no matter how much money he made, his family was everything. They were his true wealth. As Layla slept soundly beside him, Marcus knew that this experience would stay with him forever. The lesson was simple but powerful. Nothing in life, not even all the money in the world, could replace the love and bond he shared with his daughter. And that was more than enough. And hey, if you're rolling with the Black Visionaries family, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because we've got more powerful, jaw-dropping stories coming your way that you won't want to miss. Stay inspired, stay strong, and remember, your dignity is never up for debate.